So I've tweaked my method for presenting my logos to clients, and I'm going to let you in on my method for 2020. So if you want to avoid that crushing, soul-destroying rejection from a client and the headaches that go along with that, do follow along today and learn how to present your logos efficiently for 2020. There are 5 different steps to higher success rates on your logos being accepted by your clients. And the first couple of steps are pretty basic but essential. We are going to soon get onto the game-changing tips, but you really do need to make sure you have the basics mastered first and foremost. So firstly, make sure that your logo design concepts are in fact finished. Now that sounds pretty straightforward, right? But you'd be surprised by how many designers haven't actually fully developed their ideas and their concepts. You must rework your concepts and rework them again and again. So you're going to be presenting your hours and hours of labor to the client for the very first time, and so in this instance, first impressions are more important than ever. Analyze your font choices, look at imperfections in the vector paths, question your color choices, and basically study the entire logo and judge whether or not it's going to wow your client. Now you need to be very selective as to what you send your client, and this leads on to point number 2, which is the last basic point in today's video. Do not send the client too many concepts. It is an easy trap to fall into, and I myself have been guilty of this many times, and that is when you send the client way too much. You send way too many concepts or way too many designs. Now you should have an idea of the very best of your concepts or your designs. You should know why they work, and you should have a gut feeling and confidence about some of them in particular. You don't want to leave your client with a whole lot of choice, because this will confuse them and it can lead to poor choices, if they make any choices at all. So try and narrow down your selections to 3 or 5 design concepts maximum. So that's the basics out of the way. Let's look at something a bit different, and let's take a look at persuasion. So yeah, we're coming back to this point of graphic designers being persuasive or influencing people. Some people say that the design should speak for itself. And let me tell you this right now, that's completely wrong. You may have already won the contract and landed the client's project, but you still need to sell your design to them, or the idea of the concept for that matter. And to do this, you need to firmly understand the brief and why you're designing for that client. You need to demonstrate how your design solves their problems, or how it appeals to the brief. An example here would be if the client needed a logo for a property or a construction brand company. You might want to create a logo symbol that utilizes angled straight lines. And this is because, according to shape psychology, angled straight lines suggest stability and efficiency. These are 2 traits that would really go well with this kind of niche sector, and you can see it across the board in property and construction logos. That's not a coincidence. You need to make your client aware of why you made the choices you did. But how do you do that? Well, it's all in the presentation, and you can neatly and creatively add notes that will explain why you've done certain things. This is how you sell the idea of your logo to the client and how you persuade them around to your point of view. You are the one with the professional knowledge, and so you need to express that in the presentation. Your client hasn't exactly studied design for several years, and that's why they've come to you for a logo design, and so you need to express your knowledge through your presentation. So yeah, really explain your process in a visual manner along with some text, so the client can come around to your viewpoint of the entire logo project and your concepts. The next point is the presentation itself. And I personally like to do this in Adobe Photoshop with one document that runs downward. Now I create a long document and I use mockups that run down the page. The important thing here is to use mockups, and that's because there are so many of them free and available to you online, and they have a huge power at really emphasizing certain things to the client. If they can see your logo designs in real life situations, it's really going to help solidify that concept that you have created into their minds as a practical design solution. But remember, you should choose mockups that are relevant to your client's sector of work. So if the logo is for a meditation or a yoga brand, choose a neat mock-up next to maybe a plant or a wooden surface, something natural. And this is because it appeals and it links back to their business. So be very thoughtful of everything you add into your presentation and think about what's going to appeal to that client. So another point that is built into the presentation is showing the evolution of your logo symbol or the logo design. Now this is hugely powerful because it can show the client the relevancy of your thought process, and this does link back into the whole persuasion thing. If they can see where you've come from mentally speaking and why, it really solidifies that logo as being the winner or a good choice for their company. As an example, when I worked on the Jiu-Jitsu brand, I did show how I created the logo from a G utilized with both angular straight lines, which refers back to the metallic name of the brand, and also how it kind of resembles a fist, which is linked to martial arts. This mini evolution will solidify in the client's mind the content and the relevance of your work, and it does go a really long way. Of course, if you want to learn more techniques about graphic design, maybe Illustrator, or just in general, do click one of the videos on screen and also subscribe to my channel for weekly graphic design content. But of course, until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.